welcome to #Spina bifida. Today I'm going to talk about all the surgeries I've had and what they were for. I've pretty much just always told you I've had 12 surgeries on my back and 1 brain surgery, but I've never really told you about those surgeries in detail. So let's get to that.
I never talked about my surgeries
my 12
neither.
surgeries were to untether my spine. The way my spina bifida works, which is lipomyelomeniingocele, is that my back produces way too much tissue and it holds on to my spinal cord, which is called tethering. What my surgeries are for is that they open up my back, they take out tissue, and that releases my spine for a bit, which allows me to have growth spurts and just lets me develop a bit more. My first surgery was a month after I was born because with my spina bifida, my back was not exposed. It was closed and it just had a small, like, cylinder looking bump. Now my bump's more like this shape. But the first surgery was the start of that. My spine was tethered and they released my spine. And before anyone asks, no, I am short because my parents are just short. It has nothing to do with my spina bifida. So all of my surgeries have just been taken out
That was a
the
good
tissue.
question.
But 1 year when I was 10 years old, it was nerves tethering my spine instead of tissue. That was a big surprise to my doctor when they opened me up. So he made the executive decision to take out some of those nerves. And originally I lost feeling from my right knee down, and I have feeling back now majority of my leg, but my right foot I have no feeling in, and I have lost feeling in my left foot over time. Mostly all my surgeries didn't have any kind of complications like that. I had one surgery, everything went fine, but I woke up and I couldn't hear, and I think that was a complication from the anesthesia. I just could not hear anything.
I'd be
I also
devastated.
had just learned American Sign Language, so when they woke me up, I couldn't hear. I just started signing to them that I couldn't hear. For some reason, I just
Thank
stopped
God
using
you
my
knew sign
voice because
language.
I was like, I can't communicate this way. I need to sign. So I did that, and then they made me sniff something, and then I could hear again. I really don't know what to tell you what that was. Like, that, I was in a haze as well because I had just woken up from surgery. But that's what happened. I think that was a complication from anesthesia. I don't know. So all my back surgeries have been that. My 12th back surgery was a lot different. My 11th and 12th back surgery were back to back. So my 11th one was the untethering. I was allowed to go back to school. This was 5th grade, and it was the end of the year, and we were having game day. A boy yelled at me for sitting in his chair. We didn't have assigned seats because all the tables were put together and we were playing a game. But I was putting away a game board, and he told me to get out, and I said to him to wait because I need to finish cleaning this. And the next thing I knew, I was on the ground. He pulled the chair out from under me, and my back hit the chair and hit the ground. Mind you, I wasn't fully healed from my 11th back surgery, but I was healed enough where I was allowed to go back to school. So this was extremely painful, and all that really happened was my dad and my sister came to the school, looked at my back, everything seemed fine. The kid said, I'm sorry, and then school ended. Like, a few days after school ended, my back started leaking spinal fluid, and instead of telling my parents,
That would be scary.
I was 10, I just put washcloths and taped them with medical tape to my back to hide it because I was very traumatized with the hospital. That's a thing a lot of people don't talk about, is a lot of kids who have grown up in the hospital, a lot of them experience PTSD, and I am one of those kids. Because of all the PTSD, I felt I had to hide my back leaking because I didn't want to have surgery again. I didn't want to be in the hospital. Because of that, I got an infection the size of a quarter in the middle of my back. It was a hole, and that's when I finally told my mom. We went to the hospital. They couldn't get it to close or to stop leaking. My bump on my back filled up and was very extended out of my back, and my bump went all the way up to the middle of my back, which is not normal at all, and it was fluid buildup. So finally they did a surgery and they put the shunt that I have inside my abdomen. It just keeps the spinal fluid level in my back, and it keeps me alive essentially. So I was able to heal, and that was my 12th back surgery. I didn't have any more surgeries from 7th grade all the way to my senior year of high school. A few months into college is when I started experiencing symptoms for Chiari malformation. I had a skull decompression. I recently just learned exactly what they did, which that's in a video I will put. The card will pop up for that video. But essentially, they took a piece of the bottom of my skull out. I don't have that part of my skull anymore. And they took out like half of my first vertebrae to give my cerebellum a lot of room. I'm missing bones. is what I'm telling you. That's all of my surgeries explained. A lot of you have asked about them in detail, so I hope this clears everything up. So thank you for watching. If you like my work and want to help support me, you can pledge to my Patreon. It's a monthly subscription where you get rewards, or you can do a one-time donation to my PayPal. The links for that will be in the description below. And until next time, bye.
Excuse me. She is super blessed to get through all of that. I had a lot of surgeries too. Most of mine were when I was a baby. I believe I had over 22 just as a baby. My doctors broke my legs. My mother is no longer alive, so I can't give y'all details on every surgery. But I know I had surgery on my head to put my shunt in from my head to my stomach. My doctors have broken my legs to straighten them because they figured breaking them would straighten them. I know I've had surgery on my spine because I got the same little bump right before my buttocks cracked. I had a toe removed because of an infection. I've had my heel bone removed on my left foot because of an infection from getting an ulcer from walking and putting too much pressure on my feet. I got scars on my leg in the front from when my doctors broke my legs because they figured if they broke them when I was born, they would straighten them, which I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm able to walk, so I look at it like a blessing because had they not tried to break them, they tried to break them because they were crooked, so they tried to break them straight. I probably wouldn't be walking. I probably wouldn't be walking if he hadn't done that, if God hadn't put that in his mind to do that as a doctor. But who knows, man? You never really know. I know I'm blessed because all the people that I know with spina bifida, or most, I ain't gonna say all, I'm gonna say at least like 75% of the people I've met with spina bifida, theirs isn't nearly on the same level as mine, so I feel super blessed that the spina bifida that I was born with isn't that tragic or isn't that drastic, you know. And if you got spina bifida, you should feel blessed because it's a lot of people with spina bifida that are vegetables. So if you're not a vegetable, even if you paralyzed and can't walk, if you're not a vegetable, you should feel blessed that you're not a vegetable. And if you are a vegetable, you should feel blessed that you're alive and you're not dead, you know. Because spina bifida kills people. They told me I was supposed to die as a baby, you know. Like I said, I wish my mom was here. She could tell you all these things, but I'm telling y'all what she told me my whole life. And she always made sure I appreciated life and I appreciated the blessings that God installed in my life because things could always be worse no matter what case scenario you go through. Like I said, I've been through over 22 surgeries. I could have been through 50, or one of those 22 could have killed me. One of those over 22 could have killed me. So I'm just blessed to be alive. I can walk. I'm in good health. I have nerve damage too, so sometimes I can't feel. Sometimes I can, depends on what part of my lower half. But I'm just blessed to be alive and to be healthy and be able to be somebody that the doctor said I wouldn't be. You know, I beat all the odds that the doctors were trying to tell my parents or my mother. They were trying to tell my mom I wouldn't be able to learn, I would be a vegetable, I wouldn't be smart, I wouldn't grow. I'm 5'9", 230 something pounds. So I didn't grow to as big as my biological father. My biological father is 6'4", but I'm not a small vegetable like they said I would be. So I'm appreciative for my weight, my height, my ability to be as healthy as I can due to the circumstances that I was given, you know, the cards that God dealt me. So y'all be blessed. My camera about to cut off. I love y'all. 346 subscribers. Keep subscribing.